The trailer for Bridgerton Season 4 Part 2 has finally dropped, and it's already giving us so much to talk about. Following the dramatic ending of Part 1, where Benedict asked Sophie to be his mistress, it looks like he might be having second thoughts, torn between desire and duty. With Anthony and Kate back in the mix, the Bridgertons standing in high society could be at risk if Benedict chooses love over tradition. Let's dive into the trailer, pick out the key moments, and I'll share my theories and predictions along the way. Spoiler alert! This breakdown contains major plot details. The trailer opens with Lady Whistledown declaring, "There are moments in our lives where we arrive at a crossroads." The scene shows Benedict and Sophie on opposite sides of a crowded street, separated not just by distance, but by the barriers of society, a striking visual symbol of their impossible love. Next, we see Benedict approach Sophie. "You did not answer my letter." She responds, "Because I do not wish to see you." Part 1 showed Sophie falling head over heels for Benedict, assuming he felt the same. But influenced by the men around him, Benedict asked her to be his mistress, a proposal that deeply hurt her. Essentially, he was asking her to remain in the shadows while he maintained appearances with someone deemed socially appropriate. No wonder she didn't reply. The trailer then shows Sophie speaking with a former servant from the Penwoods. When the servant asks, "What do you mean to do?" Sophie insists, "Being a mistress is the last thing I want." While it looks like she's talking to her friend, it feels more like a response to Benedict's proposal. Benedict himself admits, "How else am I to be with a woman society's made it impossible for me to be with?" Clearly, he loves Sophie deeply, but his family's expectations are holding him back. This tension, heart versus society, will likely be central to Part 2. Colin encourages him, "You must be brave. You cannot let fear stop you from letting your heart speak." This is intercut with Benedict approaching Sophie as she works, a visual of him finally taking that leap. Sophie asks, "Mr. Bridgerton, do you need anything?" Benedict replies, "No, I found it." It's a simple line, but it signals his resolve. He knows what his heart wants and is ready to face the consequences. From here, the trailer shifts in tone. Sophie confronts him. "You hurt me. When do you stop to think about me?" Benedict responds, "Every moment of every day," leaving Sophie visibly shocked. His words, "I cannot love a maid, and yet you have taken possession of me," are followed by a passionate kiss, signaling that Sophie is beginning to forgive him. Lady Whistledown then reminds us, "For beings from opposing worlds, the desire is not the problem, but the world itself." The trailer expands beyond Benedict and Sophie, hinting at friction between Francesca and Lord John Kilmartin now that Michaela enters the scene. Francesca's love for a woman ties back to this theme. Society, not desire, is the obstacle. Lady Penwood also appears, highlighting how Sophie's past has long been constrained by societal walls. Anthony warns Benedict, "You've convinced yourself that she is reason enough to risk everything." His words reflect the tension between love and social reputation, something Benedict is clearly weighing. A maid's voice reminds Sophie, "We're not born to simply work and die," encouraging her to seize her chance at love and a new life. Quick flashes show Sophie and Benedict being intimate, hinting at Benedict's willingness to embrace his love even while navigating societal scrutiny. Another line asks, "You are in love, are you not?" accompanied by shots of other couples, suggesting that the season will explore the cost of love versus societal expectations. Violet then cautions Benedict, "There is one sacrifice you will have to make, your family." Scenes hint at other sacrifices too, like Queen Charlotte and Lady Danbury, and we see Benedict observing Penelope with her child, symbolizing his readiness to embrace family life on his own terms. Violet's warning is harsh, but Benedict seems willing to risk it all for Sophie. The trailer's climax features Sophie asking, "What is love in the face of society?" A poignant question about the power of true love versus societal judgment. Lady Whistledown posts her latest gossip, prompting Benedict to declare, "I've had quite enough of the demands of society." Riding off to follow Sophie, it's clear he's ready to defy convention. Finally, Violet reminds him, "Whatever you choose, you must live with it forever." Benedict's choice will change his life irrevocably. Meanwhile, Lady Penwood's theft of Sophie's fortune is likely to be revealed later in the season, exposing society's materialism while leaving Sophie's character intact. The trailer closes with just under 2 weeks to go until the season finale, leaving fans on the edge of their seats. I can't wait to see how it all unfolds. The world of high society is about to be shaken to its very core. In the latest trailer for Bridgerton Season 4 Part 2, love and duty clash in ways we could never have predicted. Benedict and Sophie's story isn't just about romance anymore, it's about choice, sacrifice, and the price you pay when following your heart in a society that values status above all else. Every glance, every word, every secret carries weight, and this trailer gives us a glimpse of the storm that's about to hit the Bridgertons. As tensions rise and passions ignite, the question that lingers in the air is simple but devastating. Will love truly conquer all, or will the expectations of family and society tear them apart? Let's dive into the trailer, unpack the pivotal moments, and explore what might lie ahead for Benedict, Sophie, and everyone whose lives are entangled in their world. From the very first frame, the trailer sets the tone for a season that promises drama, tension, and emotional turmoil. Lady Whistledown's voice cuts through the opening scene with the words, "There are moments in our lives where we arrive at a crossroads," immediately signaling that no character will leave this chapter unchanged. This moment is accompanied by a powerful visual of Benedict and Sophie on opposite sides of a road, separated not just by distance, but by society, expectation, and the invisible chains that govern their lives. It's a symbol that speaks volumes. Their love is no longer simple. It's complicated by every rule, every expectation, and every judgment of high society. Benedict's journey, in particular, is at a crossroads. Following the shocking events of Season 4 Part 1, where he asked Sophie to become his mistress, viewers are left questioning whether he will continue down this socially acceptable but morally questionable path, or if he will finally confront his feelings and the societal constraints that have bound him. Sophie, on the other hand, is portrayed as a woman who has endured manipulation, heartbreak, and societal disregard, yet she still stands firm, her dignity and self-respect intact. The trailer immediately hints that this season will explore not just the blossoming romance between these two characters, but the very real obstacles that threaten to pull them apart. The dialogue is telling. Benedict approaches Sophie, asking, "You did not answer my letter?" To which she responds, "Because I do not wish to see you." This exchange is loaded with tension. It recalls the emotional upheaval of Part 1, showing Sophie's anger, hurt, and the boundaries she has placed around her own heart. What's striking is how the trailer balances the personal with the political. Benedict's affection is genuine, yet his actions are influenced by the rigid expectations of his family and the upper echelons of society. His love is sincere, but his methods, asking Sophie to be a mistress, reveal a man still wrestling with tradition, fear, and desire. The trailer then pivots to Sophie's interactions with her past, particularly the servant she once worked with at the Penwoods, highlighting how her history continues to shape her present. When Sophie declares, "Being a mistress is the last thing I want," it's a line that resonates beyond just her refusal of Benedict's initial proposal. It underscores her struggle for agency and respect in a world that has long denied her both. Even as she navigates this tense dynamic, the trailer makes it clear that Benedict's feelings are unwavering. His declaration, "How else am I to be with a woman society's made it impossible for me to be with?" conveys the heart of his conflict: love versus societal expectation. This line signals a major thematic thread for the upcoming season: the tension between following one's heart and conforming to the demands of high society. It's not just Benedict's dilemma. It's a reflection of the rigid social structures that govern every relationship, every choice, and every secret in the Bridgerton world. Colin's words to Benedict, "You must be brave. You cannot let fear stop you from letting your heart speak," further heighten this tension. These words act as both guidance and prophecy, foreshadowing the trials Benedict will face as he considers stepping outside the boundaries society has laid out for him. It's a compelling dynamic, full of suspense, as viewers are left wondering whether he will heed the advice or be paralyzed by fear and expectation. Meanwhile, Sophie's internal struggle is mirrored in every look, every pause, and every line of dialogue. The trailer carefully captures the intensity of her emotional journey, her hurt, her confusion, and her cautious hope. When Benedict finally approaches her and they exchange a simple yet loaded dialogue, Sophie asking, "Mr. Bridgerton, do you need anything?" and Benedict replying, "No, I found it." The moment is charged with meaning. It's an acknowledgement that he has found clarity about his feelings and perhaps, more importantly, a willingness to act on them despite the risks. The music, initially tense and dramatic, shifts at this moment, subtly signaling a turning point in the narrative. This change mirrors the characters' emotional arcs, from uncertainty and conflict to clarity and decisive action. The trailer does not shy away from the stakes involved. Benedict's willingness to pursue Sophie is set against a backdrop of societal scrutiny, family expectations, and the rigid class structures that define the Bridgerton universe. Each character's dialogue, every glance, and every intercut scene in the trailer is designed to build suspense, illustrating the intricate dance between desire and duty. The stakes are made even more apparent with Sophie's confrontation of Benedict. "You hurt me. When do you stop to think about me?" His heartfelt response, "Every moment of every day," reinforces his genuine affection while also heightening the emotional tension. Sophie's shock and lingering doubts reflect the complexity of their relationship, showing that love alone cannot resolve the challenges they face. Adding layers to this narrative are the supporting characters and the societal context. Lady Penwood's past actions, Anthony's advice, and the subtle cues from other members of the Bridgerton circle create a web of influence and expectation that both complicates and intensifies the central romance. Every conversation, every glance, every word carries weight, making it clear that no action occurs in isolation. The trailer paints a picture of a season that is not only about romance, but about courage, consequence, and the choices that define a life. Each frame, each line of dialogue, and each symbolic gesture is meticulously crafted to convey the high stakes, making the anticipation for Season 4 Part 2 almost unbearable. It's a story about love caught between passion and propriety, a struggle that is as thrilling as it is suspenseful, and a narrative that promises to test every character's limits in ways we've never seen before. The tension in Bridgerton Season 4, Part 2 escalates immediately after the trailer's opening, as the story begins to explore the consequences of following one's heart in a world that thrives on appearances and reputation. Benedict's struggle isn't just about choosing Sophie. It's about the devastating reality that loving her could upend everything his family has built. The trailer makes this clear with a line that hits at the very core of high society. Every choice carries a consequence, and the world will not forgive weakness. From this moment, viewers are plunged into a battle between desire and duty. The emotional weight of Benedict and Sophie's love is framed by societal pressures that are relentless, unforgiving, and sometimes cruel. Sophie's past, the cruelty of Lady Penwood, and the whispers of high society all converge to create a landscape where every step forward is fraught with risk. Sophie, once a maid, has been thrust into a world that never fully accepted her, and the trailer highlights the fragility of her position. Her encounters with Benedict reflect the tension of someone who has learned to protect herself, yet whose heart is continuously tested. Benedict's words, "I cannot love a maid, and yet you have taken possession of me," echo throughout the trailer, capturing the duality of his conflict. It's a confession of passion, but also a painful acknowledgement of societal constraints. The juxtaposition of raw emotion against rigid social hierarchy is at the heart of the drama, making each decision feel monumental. What makes this section of the trailer so compelling is the way it balances romance with suspense. Every glance, every word, and every pause carries a dual meaning, one for the characters' hearts and one for their social standing. Sophie's insistence that being a mistress is the last thing I want isn't just a rejection, it's a declaration of self-worth in a society that has long denied her agency. At the same time, Benedict is faced with the impossibility of reconciling love with status. The trailer continues to heighten suspense by showing subtle but significant interactions between secondary characters. Colin's advice, "You must be brave. You cannot let fear stop you from letting your heart speak," is not just encouragement. It is foreshadowing of the difficult choices Benedict will face as the season unfolds. The interplay between the brothers introduces an additional layer of tension, as Anthony becomes both confidant and skeptic. Will he counsel Benedict to follow his heart, or caution him against risking the family name? The trailer deliberately leaves this question unanswered, keeping viewers on edge. The visuals reinforce the stakes at every turn. Shots of Benedict and Sophie in close proximity, separated by obstacles or social formality, symbolize not just physical distance, but the emotional and societal barriers they must overcome. These moments of subtle tension are paired with dialogue that underscores the uncertainty and danger surrounding their romance. "You hurt me. When do you stop to think about me?" Sophie's plea is a pivotal moment, capturing the emotional fragility of a woman who has loved deeply and yet been forced to navigate betrayal and expectation. Benedict's heartfelt response, "Every moment of every day," signals a turning point, but it also raises the stakes. How far is he willing to go, and at what cost? The trailer then begins to weave in the larger social consequences of their love. Lady Whistledown's narration, warning that the world itself is the problem, expands the scope beyond individual conflict. This line hints that the season will explore not just personal desire, but societal hypocrisy, materialism, and the rigid class structures that punish those who dare to challenge convention. Francesca's story, too, emerges in the trailer as a secondary but equally compelling narrative thread. Her own journey toward love, complicated by the entrance of Michaela, reflects the broader theme of desire versus societal expectation. The trailer positions these intertwined stories to highlight the season's core question: is love worth the risk? This isn't just about romance, it's about courage, resilience, and the consequences of breaking free from the invisible chains of tradition. Anthony's interaction with Benedict adds another layer of suspense. By questioning whether Sophie is reason enough to risk everything, Anthony forces Benedict and the audience to consider the high stakes of defying society. It is a reminder that in the Bridgerton universe, love is never simple, and the cost of pursuing it can be monumental. Meanwhile, Sophie's interactions with the other characters, particularly her former colleagues and friends, reinforce her precarious position. The line, "We're not born to simply work and die," captures the essence of her struggle. It's a subtle but powerful reminder that her choices matter, that she has the right to pursue happiness despite societal expectations, and that the consequences of her decisions will ripple throughout her world. The tension intensifies as the trailer moves toward moments of intimacy and confrontation. Shots of Benedict and Sophie sharing passionate moments are immediately followed by lines that remind the audience of the danger surrounding them: social scrutiny, gossip, and family pressure. Every affectionate glance is shadowed by the fear of judgment, making their love story as suspenseful as it is romantic. The trailer also hints at sacrifices that other characters may have to make, suggesting that the consequences of love will not be limited to Benedict and Sophie alone. Queen Charlotte's potential loss of Lady Danbury, the tension within the Bridgerton family, and Sophie's complicated financial position all contribute to a narrative that emphasizes risk, cost, and consequence. By layering these subplots with the central romance, the trailer builds a sense of inevitability,